Hi everyone, this is Elizabeth from the Community Library, and I'm going to be talking about how to get started with Goodreads.com today. So first, what is Goodreads? So it's a website and an app that's the largest social network for readers. So people go on here to talk about books, keep track of what they're reading, and just talk with other readers. So as I mentioned before, it's a website and app. So the website is goodreads.com, and there's an app available on the iOS App Store or the Google Play Store for any device that you have. Another interesting thing of note with Goodreads is that it is owned by Amazon, so it links really well with your Kindle account if that's something you're interested in. And I'll kind of talk about that a bit later as one of the benefits. So, as I mentioned before, why do people use Goodreads? So, the first reason, it's the largest social network, so a lot of people use it. So, one thing that I really like about it is that a lot of my friends use Goodreads, a lot of friends that I don't talk to as much as I used to, so I'm able to kind of see what they're reading, see what they're into, and get different suggestions for books that way. Another reason people use it is to read reviews. So, users on Goodreads will review books and give them stars. So it's a great way to get kind of the mood of a book and see what other people are saying about it. You can also use Goodreads to find read-alikes or books that were similar to another book. So this is great if you are in the mood for a book like one you've read before. You can go to that book and find similar books and get recommendations that way. There's also the annual reading challenge, which I'll talk a little bit more later, but people use it to push themselves to read more books in a year. So you can set a number and try and read that many books. You can also join book clubs and different groups and talk with readers. And you can also use it to keep track of your books by adding them to shelves, which we'll talk about. So to sign up, I have the app here. This is what the app looks like, and this is what the website looks like. So you can either create an account with an email address and a password, or you can sign in using an existing account on Facebook, Twitter, Google, or Amazon. So the thing with signing up with Amazon, it's really great because it'll automatically link your Kindle activity, which if that's one of your reasons for it, it makes it a lot easier. Another thing to consider with social media is you might not want to show your activity to your friends. So if you sign up with Facebook, your Facebook friends who also have Goodreads will probably be able to see your activity, which is just something to consider if you don't want it to be as public. So let's talk about first navigating the website. So once you've signed up and logged in, this is the home screen you're going to see. So let's go to the top bar here. There's the home screen, so that's what the screen we're on right now. There's My Books, which shows all the books you've added. There's Browse, which is how you can explore different books. There's the Community, which is different groups and stuff like that. You'll be able to find them there. There's the being able to search for books by title or author. You can also find your account here, and this is kind of all related to your account. So there's notifications, chatting, your friends, and then your main account here. So then on the left here, this is mostly about your activity in your books. So first here is currently reading. So once you have added a book that you're currently reading, it'll show up here, and you're able to update your status and where you're at in that book here. There's also the reading challenge, which here you can type in how many books you want to read and start, and you can change it at any time, as it says there. And here it'll also show you books that you've added as books you want to read, and you can quickly access that shelf from here. And then this main section here, think of it kind of like a regular social media feed, as they call it. So like your Facebook feed, you can scroll down and it'll show you posts by your friends or different people that you follow. So as we mentioned before, the My Books page is how you find books that you've added. So it'll look different based on how many books you've added and different shelves that you've added, which we'll talk a little bit more about later. And feel free, as I'm probably going to mention it a few times, don't be afraid to play around and make the website work for you, because there's a lot of different, you can go really deep and just customize it as much as you want. So don't be afraid to do that. So now that we've created an account and we're kind of familiar with the website, you have to find books before you can add them to your shelf. So a good place to start is start with the books you've read and you know that you like, so you can find them and add them to your library. So before you add a book to your shelf, as I mentioned, you have to find it. So the first option is using the search bar. So you can search by title, author, genre, and you can choose to search books or groups, which we'll talk about a little bit more later. But for books, you can search by title, author, or ISBN. And the ISBN is good because sometimes Goodreads has a hard time finding if it's a book that's not as popular. Sometimes it might not come up with how you type the title in, so using the ISBN is more specific. You can also browse for new books using the Explore page here, and that'll come up with new releases. And you can use Goodreads articles and lists, which I'll talk about on the next slide. And you can also find recommendations from Goodreads. So the recommendations are good, but they only work once you've added so many books. So you can't do that at first, but it'll be good for later. So as you type in the search bar, it'll kind of suggest titles like Goodreads, or not Goodreads, Google's autocomplete. So I've typed in the author's first name, and it pops up with some of the most popular books. So from here, you can pick which one you're talking about. And also the news and interviews section. So here on the bottom of browse, there's news and interviews. And they're great because there are lots of great lists posted weekly by Goodreads staff. So here there's 100 most popular sci-fi. You can click on the title and it'll give you a whole list of all the most popular. So you can either find books you want to read, or from there you can add books that you've read already. So once you've found some books, we have to shelve them. So this is how you save books to your account. So there's like three main ways that you can add books to your shelves. So the first, as I mentioned before, is that currently reading section. So you can type a book into here and search for it, click it, and it'll automatically add it as currently reading. And once you find a book, you can click on the title or the cover, and it'll take you to the main books page. And then right under the cover, there's a green button where you can either click it to add it to want to read, or you click on the down arrow and it'll bring up all the different shelves where you can save it as a different shelf. And then also on your My Books page, you can edit the shelves of a book or add more shelves. So you can see the shelves here for a book I have, and then I clicked edit, and it comes up with this little drop down bar that has all the different options that I can add it to. So with shelves, there are three main basic shelves that you'll have once you register. So they are read, currently reading, and want to read. So any book you add has to be on one of these three shelves. But you can also add more and customize them however you want. So some ideas for different shelves you can add are different genres, like I have fantasy and horror. The format of books, so you can have, if you have ebooks or audiobooks that you've listened to, you could create shelves for that. And you can also add books you want to buy, so you can add a wish list. So it's all about just figuring out what works best for you and how you would use the website best. So you can add as many shelves as you want. As few of your shelves, you don't have to add any. It's all just whatever you're interested in. Another great idea that I use is creating a shelf for books that you haven't finished or abandoned. And you might even want to come back to them. So you can add a shelf for that as well to keep track of. So now once you have a book that you're currently reading, you can also choose to update your status of the book. So under the currently reading page, you can click update progress, and it'll come up with this screen here. And you can show how many pages you're on or what percentage you're on. And you can even type something here. If you are really having strong feelings about a book, you can rant about it here or praise it if you're really loving a book. And then you'll just click update progress, and then it'll post to so your friends can see. And this is also great. I use status updates to also keep my page. So if I have a book that I know I'm going to have to return soon, I can update what page I'm on, and it'll save it for later when I come back to the book. So on the app, it's kind of similar. So you'll click on the bottom bar, it just went away, but there is an option for My Books. And then on the top here, you can see what you're currently reading. You'll tap Update Progress and then type in the page number or percent and then click Done. And so that's the same. And then if you're currently reading multiple books, you just tap See All and it'll show them all on the list. So once you have finished a book, so as you can see here, you click Update Progress and then you can click I finished this book. So once you do that, Goodreads will prompt you to rate, review, and save the dates that you read it on. This is really all optional. You don't really need to give any information. This is just, if you want to, you can. So you can give it stars out of 5, add it to different bookshelves, write a review, and then save the date read. So this is mostly for when you do the reading challenge. It'll keep track of how many books you read that year. So let's talk first about stars. So as I mentioned before, Goodreads will kind of prompt you to rate with stars. And it lets Goodreads know what kind of books you like or what you don't like. And full stars are the only option. So I have the meanings here on the right. And you can rate them however you want. My system is kind of different than what Goodreads thinks it is. I tend to use like 4 stars if I liked it. If it was meh, I usually use 3. But for Goodreads, 3 means I liked it. So that means that I'll get recommendations based on it. So mostly 1 and 2 are the meh categories for Goodreads. But you can use it however you want, whatever system you come up with. So then we'll talk a little bit about your profile. So there's, like any social media website, you can customize how much information you share and what kind of, what your profile looks like. So you click on the top little picture icon here, and this menu comes up, and you can click Account Settings, which will take you to this bottom bar here. And then on the app, you would tap the More, and then go to Settings, and that will bring up with all the options that you have. And this can change what notifications you get, what emails you get. There's a lot to explore here. Another thing I really wanted to mention was privacy. So you want to make sure if you don't want your activity to be shared or searched, you want to change your privacy settings. So these are the defaults here that when I created a new account, this is what the options were. And it's a little overwhelming, but if it is really important to you, you can change all of this. So for here, example, who can view my profile? So you can change it anyone to just your friends. You can really make it be private. So if you don't want anyone to see your reviews, you can change that. And it's all really about exploring and customizing it for yourself. So now to the fun stuff. So this is what Goodreads is really fun for. The main reason a lot of people use it is for the reading challenge. So like I said before, it's setting a goal on how many books you want to read this year. And then Goodreads will track it for you and show when you completed it. So the goal can be changed at any time, and you can set any number that you like. So as you can see here, 2017 I did 10, and now this year I decided to do 50. But remember, the main thing is it's supposed to be fun. If you find that it's really stressful to try and keep up with a reading challenge, you don't have to do it at all. It's meant to be fun and to kind of push yourself. Another fun thing is the exploring the book and author pages. So I'll kind of demonstrate the book pages in a little bit, but you can follow favorite authors to get notifications. On the book pages, there's a ton of information. And as I said here, don't be scared to click around and go down the rabbit hole. So I'm going to demonstrate just here kind of how far you can go on here. So I'm going to look up a book, and we'll go to Down Among the Sticks and Bones. So once you click on a book, this is kind of what each book page looks like. So you can see the title information. It also has the series number, the book number that it is in the series. Let me get this out of the way. So you can see there's what I've rated it. You can also preview the book. And these are what I was talking about with the read-alikes. So you can see what people also enjoyed. If you're looking for suggestions. Then as we go down, you can see the different genres people have tagged it as. the book information. And the one main cool thing here is the series. So if I click on that, it'll take me to the series information. So it'll list every book that is in the series. And you can kind of keep them track there. And then there's related series. You can really just go crazy with it. So now we're back on the page. So there's information about the author. There's other books in the series, as I mentioned. There's other books by the author, not in the series. There's my activity, friend reviews, reviews from people I follow. There's also quotes here you can explore. And then there's also reviews and lists that have featured this book. So as I mentioned before, you can really go crazy and just spiral. So kind of don't be afraid to have fun with it and explore your favorite authors and see what kind of different books you can find. Yep, so as I mentioned before, finding information about a series is really great. And on the app, it's a similar way. We're on the page for the book. If you go down to details and editions, you can click on the series and it'll bring up all the different information there. So another fun feature is your year in books. So this is a summary of all the books you've read in a year, and Goodreads will give you a bunch of fun statistics on what you've read, and you'll see like which books are the most popular, which was the longest, shortest, and it'll display the average rating. And as you can see here, this is mine, and you just kind of scroll down on the app and it'll show you all the books you've read. I really do like this because it's kind of fun just to see what you accomplished this year in reading books. It'll also show you if you've reviewed some books, just the different reviews you've done for books. There's also giveaways on the website. So this is under the Browse feature. Publishers often use Goodreads to give away advanced copies to kind of drum up excitement for a book. So you can enter to win, and they're either print copies or there'll be a Kindle edition of a book, and you can enter the giveaway. You can also, as I mentioned before, you can preview books, and this is only for certain books that have the option. So under the title, you'll see there's that preview button. So you'll click that and it'll bring up a Kindle version. So you can read just a little preview of it and then choose to get the full version if you're interested. And so one of the coolest features of the app specifically is being able to scan the cover of a book to look it up. So here you can see I pulled a book off a shelf and I just held the cover up and it kind of detects it and then brings up the book. From there you can add it to want to read, or you can scroll down to look at the reviews, and it's really, really handy. So then let's talk a little bit about the community. So as I mentioned before, Goodreads is the social network for readers. So there's a lot of ways to interact with other readers and do fun book things. Like I like to read, but sometimes what do I like to do more than reading is just like talk about reading. So there's lists, discussions. As you can see here, there was a poll on which features the users like most. So first, let's talk about groups. So groups are kind of like a traditional book club. So they're around topics, or even some traditional book clubs have a Goodreads group. So like Oprah has a Goodreads group where you can talk about the books that are in the Oprah Book Club. So it's kind of formatted like a discussion board though. So as you can see here, there's topics and you can click on them and then reply and talk to other people. And actually the community library's traditional book clubs have also moved to Goodreads. So there's the Make Mine a Mystery book club and the First Thursday book discussion. And if you're interested in these or exploring these or getting more information, you can email Irene with her email listed there to get more information about those. And there's also Listopia, which is a fun name. So they're lists compiled by people in the community. And as you can see here, they're kind of about different topics or themes. There's lists for upcoming books. And you can also, you can use these for suggestions of books, but you can also use them to vote on books. So they don't have any of them here, but there are some books like Best Young Adult Fiction, Best Mystery. If you have strong opinions, you can make your voice heard by voting on those lists. But as I mentioned before, they're also great books for getting suggestions. So there's upcoming books, so just seeing what the trends are. And finally, here we have the Goodreads Choice Awards, which are also kind of fun. So at the end of each year, Goodreads users vote on their favorite books of the year. So this is all from the community. So you can look forward to voting at the end of 2020, but you can also browse the past awards for books you might have missed. So they're all based on genres. So you can either see like the top books for mystery last year, and it's really great for seeing what was popular in the past years or what you might have missed. And that is all. I know it's really overwhelming, but hopefully that was a good introduction to Goodreads. I left my email here if you have any questions or need any help, and feel free to contact me. And like I said, I hope it was helpful. Thank you.